All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're tackling a huge philosophical debate, one that gets right to the heart of how so many of us live our lives. We're talking about ambition. And we're going to explore two completely opposite ways of looking at that drive we all have. That push to achieve, to build, and to succeed.
So, let's just put the main question right out there from the get-go. I want you to think about your own ambition for a second. Is it a strength? Is it this heroic force that gives your life meaning? Or is it something else entirely? Could it actually be a symptom of something deeper? Maybe something you're afraid of?
To really get into this, we're going to listen to two voices from our source material that are in total opposition to each other. On one side, you've got the shadow. This is the voice of striving, the one that says ambition is this noble, heroic, life-affirming force. But then, on the other side, you have the soothsayer. And this voice looks at that exact same drive and calls it a frantic, fearful distraction. So let's hear what they both have to say.
Okay, first up, let's hear the case for constant striving. This is the shadow's argument, and it paints a picture of ambition as this incredibly powerful, almost holy part of being human.
Wow. Okay, so the shadow comes out swinging, right? No holding back. It basically calls anything less than all-out effort simple cowardice. And the claim here is huge. It's saying that the active striving, the struggle itself, is what makes life sacred. It's not about whether you win or lose in the end. It's all about being in the fight.
So the key takeaway here is that ambition is way, way bigger than just, getting a promotion or a nicer car. The shadow sees it as a kind of spiritual force. It's the engine that builds entire worlds, that creates incredible art. It's what humanity uses to push back against the darkness and chaos.
And this whole philosophy is built on some really powerful images. You have this Faustian hunger, and that's not just wanting more stuff. It's this deep, infinite desire to know more, create more, be more. Then there's the morning star, which is like that last light that just refuses to let the night win. It's pure defiance. And it all leads up to this idea of the holy yes, screaming yes to life, not by sitting quietly and thinking, but by doing, by building. But what if all that roaring fire isn't a guiding light? What if it's just burning us out? That brings us to the complete opposite take. Now let's hear from the soothsayer, who's about to tear down that whole heroic idea of striving piece by piece.
And boom, what a comeback. The shadow just told us it builds bridges, right? But the soothsayer fires back, nope, you're not a bridge, you're a treadmill made of fire. I mean, what an incredible image. It completely changes the game. All that heroic effort is suddenly reframed as just painful, pointless running in place. You're not actually going anywhere. You're just burning yourself out to stay in motion.
This gets to the absolute core of the soothsayer's argument, this idea of the will to distraction. The theory is this: we aren't running towards some great goal. We're running away from something. We're running because we are absolutely terrified of what we might see if we just stopped. All that hustle, all the goals, the constant busyness, it's all just a really complicated way to avoid looking in the mirror. And this might hit home for a lot of you. Think about that constant feeling of being burned out, that low-grade anxiety that's just always there. According to the soothsayer, that's not the soundtrack of success. It's not a beautiful song about being alive. It's the panicked, frantic heartbeat you get in a fever dream. We're living in a state of delirium, and we've somehow convinced ourselves it's normal. To really drive this home, there's this little story, a parable, about a clocksmith. So picture this guy. He gets obsessed with capturing and controlling time itself. And to do it, he builds this massive, incredible cathedral filled with ticking clocks. I mean, it's a masterpiece, a truly monumental achievement. But what happens in the end? All that genius, all that frantic work, it didn't capture time. It just perfectly measured how exhausted he was becoming. He didn't master time. He just created a perfect record of how it was draining him away. And this is the final blow. The soothsayer's ultimate diagnosis is just devastating. It flips everything we think about ambition completely upside down. We love to think we change the world out of strength, right? Out of some grand vision. But the soothsayer says no, it comes from weakness. We strive because we're just too damn tired to handle the world the way it actually is. So all our world changing is really just a grand escape.
Okay, so if striving is a trap, a treadmill of fire like the soothsayer says, then what are we supposed to do? What's the alternative? Well, that leads us to the most challenging, most radical idea of all. There it is. After calling out all our striving as just a symptom of fear and burnout, The soothsayer offers a solution that is, well, it's pretty extreme. The cure is just to stop, to refuse to keep playing the game. The only honest thing left to do, in this view, is to simply stop moving. Now, it's really, really important to get this right. This great refusal isn't about laziness. It's not about giving up or just falling into a pit of despair. Actually, it's framed as the ultimate act of courage. It takes real guts to stop running, to shut off all the noise and the distractions, and finally look at the world and yourself honestly, with no project or goal to hide behind.
And so that leaves us with this. This is the question that brings this whole philosophical clash right back to you personally. If you actually did it, if you chose your own great refusal, even just for a day or an hour, if you just stopped all the striving, all the planning, all the running, what would you be forced to look at? What would you see? About the world, and more importantly, about yourself? That's a heavy question and a powerful one to leave you with.